So like I said, you will have the 160 file, and you will also have a sample Automizer file. So I can't just give the Automizer out for this class, but it will give those. Oh, hold on. So like I said, you will have, my apologies on that one. So so you'll have the skin pack, like a sampler, that'll just have the all over shirt. It'll have the 13x19 shirt, and then we'll have a hoodie on there, front and back. Okay, so and then the hoodie has a 13x19 because most of us aren't doing cut and sew quite yet, but that's a whole nother template, whole nother wheelhouse right there. So what you'll get a chance to do is you'll get a chance to explore the Automizer as a mock-up, the Automizer as a printable file, and then also as a design file. All right. So I'm saying that because as we work through it, I want you to kind of know the phases that we're working through and some of the terminology I'm using. So if I'm getting confusing, then just let me know in the chat. Just ask any question in the chat. Try not to unmute yourself unless I call on you so that it won't be a distraction. Okay. All right, y'all ready to rock and roll? Give me a 100. Give me a 100. Now, this is something I said I was not going to show. However, y'all wanted this information, and okay, I see a lot of 100s. Y'all wanted this information, and I want to make sure that not only do you have the information, but you can see the level of work that goes into it, so you can understand why there is a charge to it, because it is quite a bit of work to get it to where it's able to be used easily in the Automizer. Okay. All right, let's go. Let's go. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and bring up a file that I'm going to give you two. I'm going to give y'all this file. I want you to put it somewhere other than your desktop. Right now, I have it in my documents folder. It's going to be called a skin pack starter. Okay, so you're going to take your skin pack starter, and then you're just going to, it'll be, when you download it, it'll be a zip file. So when you unzip it, you don't have to worry about messing it up because you'll always have your zip file. So let me show you what the difference between a zip file and an unzip file for those who may not know. I'm going to zip it just to show you. You see that where it says skin pack started and it's zipped? Never edit within a zipped file. It will mess you up every single time. What you want to do is extract those files. And once you extract those files, then you edit those files. Okay. So what I'm going to do once this is finished zipping right now, I'm doing it the opposite way. You're going to have the zip file. You're going to extract it. Right now, I'm compressing it so that I have the clean saved version of this. Now, whenever you think you're going to mess up your Automizer, really what you should be working in is the unzipped version of the Automizer, or the unzipped version of the skin pack starter, right? If you're working on the unzipped version, then your zip version is always clean and pure. So if you ever mess with it, you can always go back to the original and unzip the original and use that as a fresh start. Okay. Ooh, y'all are asking for a discount code for the Automizer. I'll tell you what, if you stay to the end of this, I might have a surprise. Okay. Let's see. It depends. Let's see how many people we can get to stay to the end, how many likes we can get on this. All right, you designed the Automizer this weekend. You love it. Awesome, awesome. Okay, so I'm going to be teaching you some tips and tricks, but I'm also giving you a resource like, hey, if you need a coach to step in and get you there, we got a shortcut for that. What I'm realizing with everything that we do, that time is much more precious than money. So the value of time is greater than the value of the money. So some people want to just pay the money to have the skin packs built for them or have the artwork done for them, so then it's easier for them to play with and manipulate. I completely understand that. I'm listening to you all, and I created, until the app is ready, I created, and remind me to show y'all that where the listing is for the Academy. So I did create a Calendly link for that. So you can say, hey, by tomorrow, 3 p.m., I would like for this variation of the graphic to be ready for me. You pay $40 and we'll go ahead and get that done on the back end for you. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and get going. So I see the zip file here. So this is what you would be doing. I'm going to name this something different right now. I'm going to put it 2. just so I know it's different. So you're going to take the skin pack starter when you receive it. You're going to right click and you're going to go to extract all. Now it's going to tell you that it wants to name it as, it wants to place it a certain place. What I'm going to do is I'm going to call it whatever I'm going to change it to. So this time it's going to be 160. So instead of calling it skin pack starter, I'm going to call it skin pack 160. And let's go ahead and extract. If y'all hear me, if y'all hear that little ding dong, that's probably somebody trying to get into class. And sometimes my mind is on what I'm on and I don't hear it for some reason. It's like how you tune out the kids sometimes to get work done. Anyhow, if y'all hear that ding dong, let me know if I haven't let someone in. All right, all right. So now we're going into our skin pack 160. If we open it up, and I'm going to change the name of this file because it did. When it unzips, it names it as the original folder. Okay, so there I go. Let's open it. And these files should look pretty familiar. What you may see that's new is, and this is going to be in the Automizer pack, like the main pack. I'm going to have one that you're going to re-download. So we have this 00 test. And before it was just the word test on there. However, I've done something cool. I put everything that's in the skin pack on this test document. So if you pull it up, it should look pretty familiar. Looks a little random, but you get the point. You have your background on there. You have your color swatches here. You also have, what do we have here? Foreground, background, all of these different elements, and you'll know what they are by simply clicking on them. Let's right click and let's update all modified content. Because once we zip it, usually it kind of disconnects our matched up files, and we just want to make sure that everything is connected and linked where it's supposed to be. For everyone that couldn't get into the class, the coupon code expired at 8 p.m. So you're able to pretty much see everything from class on YouTube. That's why I went ahead and left it on YouTube as well. And this is a straight demonstration because it's going to take a lot to do the demonstration. However, for those who enrolled in the class, you'll go ahead and get those assets. As soon as I'm done tonight, I'll go ahead and upload them for you. All right, all right. Okay, looks like everything's good. And what I'm going to check here, and this is something you can check too. If I right click on one of my files and I go to Reveal in Explorer, it will open up the folder where these are saved. You see how it's in my Skin Pack 160? And this is not my Automizer folder. A Skin Pack is totally separate from the actual Automizer. So that's one of the things I want to be clear about tonight. Okay, now once we're done with this, I'm going to show you how you can integrate it into the Automizer. But I want you to be clear that a Skin Pack is separate from the Automizer. Okay. All right. So now that we're in here, the fun begins. And when I mean fun, I mean, pretty decent amount of work. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and toggle between this one and this one, because basically what you have to do is you have to mentally rework this file. The way the Automizer works is not how a traditional Photoshop file is going to work. Not exactly. Okay, so I like to start with the background because that's the thing that we can tell when there is the most change. We can almost immediately tell that. So I'm going to squeeze over here so we can see a little bit more. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is right click on the background. Now, mind you, if you keep this test file open, these things will update in real time as you change elements out. So it's going to be key. It's going to be necessary to keep this 00 test one open. Okay, now you can do this from the Automizer file. However, if you do this from the Automizer file, you're going to risk changing the entire Automizer. So if you do this from the Skin Pack file, you're going to only affect the Skin Pack, which then you can choose to apply to the Automizer. So yes, you can shortcut this and do this within the Automizer. However, you would have probably shifted some things in your Automizer, and you won't have the way of saving the original images and all of that. So that's why I like to save them separately as Skin Pack, so I can always go back to whichever version I like. All right, so let's get going on this. Let's right click here on the background. And as you see, it says zero background here. I'm going to double click to open that up as a smart object. Now, what I'm going to pay attention to here is I want to make sure that everything here, I have updated modified content. If there's anything that's changed, we want to make sure that it is visible with the new contents here. Now, we're going to build this from scratch. So let's go to our 160. Let's see what we have in our background right now. And we're going to take this entire background, just like this. We're going to drag it onto the background here. And it's a little bit different RGB profile, but we're not going to worry about that at the moment. Okay. So just like I showed y'all how to remix templates, this is almost like remixing templates. Okay. Make this a little bit larger so that we don't have anything hanging off. All right, that looks about right. I'm going to hit enter to lock in the transformation. Now, the issue here is that we need all of our colors to work out. We need all of our elements to work out. So I'm going to take everything except for the foreground accent that's up here, color 1, 2, 3, and 4. And I am going to, let's see, I'll leave the accent on here just in case. Some of you may end up using that. So everything else were design elements that were specifically for the original Automizer design. So I'm going to delete all that stuff. Okay. Now the issue here is that we need these colors, color 1, 2, 3, and 4, to be the colors that affect the change here in the new version of the skin pack. So I'm going to take colors 1, 2, 3, and 4. I'm going to turn on the eyeballs for them. And I'm going to change all of these to color normal for right now, just for right now, so I know where they are. Now I'm going to Alt click and drag this down anywhere that I see a smart color, because what we're doing, we're replacing the smart colors with the genius colors. Okay, so that's all we're doing. We're replacing smart with genius. So we're going to delete that smart color right there. Leave that one. If it'll keep up with me. Maybe my shortcuts aren't working. There we go. And if you do that, you continue to do that. Oh, you know what I should have done before I deleted it? Let me check what the blend mode is for this one. This one happens to be normal. So I would make sure that all 4 of these blend modes were on normal. Then I can delete it. Okay, I'll take these 4 again. I'll click and drag it down here. So smart color 2. And the other thing is I'll just make sure that only smart color 1 is activated, so that we keep the same color scheme. So this one, smart color 2 is activated. So I'm going to leave color 2 on and turn everything else off. But before I do that, let me make sure what the blend mode is. Blend mode here is normal as well. So all of these can be normal, but I'm only going to leave on color number 2. Then I will delete smart color 2. All right. And then for this one, this is smart color 1, but it has a layer mask on it. So what I will do is take this layer mask, drag it down to here, and delete smart color 1. And let me make sure that smart color 1 was normal. I keep forgetting that step. Okay, it is. Let's delete that. And I'm just giving myself more options here, because before I only had the option to have smart color 1 there, but I'm giving myself to have the option for smart color 1, 2, 3, or 4. And same thing here, smart color 1, 2, 3, or 4, but this time I'm going to delete the layer mask, because this is going to be my background layer. So no need for smart color 1. There we go. Now everything's looking a little janky, but I could have just turned these off so we could have seen those in real time. I'm going to turn off the accent here. And let's see what we have going on. We have our background color here. Let me see how we can change it based on whatever we want. And I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to group these. And this will be, I'm going to put the layer mask here instead. Boom. So then that way I don't have to have a layer mask on each of these.
Excuse me, Shannon.
Uh-huh.
You have like a gray box that's on your screen that's like showing, yeah, that box right there. If you can move that, maybe to, yeah, because we can't see in there.
The Zoom.
Oh,
so I'll move it off the screen.
sorry.
Okay, no problem. All right, so let's go ahead and play with which color we want where with this particular color scheme. So let's say for the circle, I wanted black there instead of the blue. I can play around with these colors. Now, the idea with the Automizer is to keep it simple. If you go and you make such a different variation of the design, then you will have to change the placement of things every single time. So the beauty of the skin packs is that, yes, it's going to give you options for design, but it's not going to take you too far off from the original design. The reason why that's important is because the whole point of this entire invention and innovation is to cut down time, right? Save yourself time, save yourself energy, get your customers' product out as quickly as possible and show them so many variations of it. They're going to want to spend all of their money with you, right? That is the point and position of the Automizer. Okay, so so when you make it difficult by switching up the design or using colors that aren't the original colors in the Automizer skin pack, then you just make extra work for yourself, which is not totally unheard of. But if they like something that you do with a couple of clicks and it looks totally different to them, then let your customer be the reason why you go out of the easiest method, if that's necessary. But most of the time, as soon as you show it to them, they're going to say, I love it. And those 3 words are going to let you, boom, send them the mock-up and go ahead and close out that proof so that you can get to production. Okay. All right. So what I'm going to do here now that I know my color 1, 2, 3, and 4, I'm going to go ahead and change those to the reds here. And remember, we had these colors here. So the way that I'm going to grab them, and I think, did I only use 1 and 4? Let me see. I think I used 4 colors, and it was red, gray, black, and white. Let me go ahead and open up the foreground here so I can grab those colors. So color 2 here was black. And I think I still use black and white. So all I'm going to do is grab this red and this gray. So smart color 1 was this red. All I'm doing is double clicking on the color here. I can find that hex code and copy it. If you don't really care where the red come from, you can re-pick the color red. But I'm going to be specific because sometimes you had something specific set up in your smart template and you want to be able to replicate that. So where the red is in this one, that was saved in color number 1. So I'm going to do the same thing on my skin pack file. So on the background, I'm going to go to color number 1. I'm going to double click. And instead of the gray here, I'm going to paste the hex code there. It turns it red and I'll hit OK. And exit out. It will ask me, do I want to save? And I don't know if the dialog box shows up for you, but I hit yes to save. All right, so that just changed color number 1 to red. I believe color number 1 here is white, but I'm going to change color number 2. Here's the thing. If you can only change 2 colors, color 1 and 2, you will save yourself a lot of time. So instead of changing my color number 4 to gray from black, I'm just going to grab this gray and I'm going to make that my color number 2. So anytime I go to change this, I'm copying the hex code. I only change color 1 and 2, and I keep 3 and 4 black and white, unless somebody has a reason to change out color number 3 and 4. When I tell you the whole premise of making this Automizer and making the skin packs is to make it super simple, foolproof. It might be a few steps, but the steps are simple. I didn't say it was going to be easy, but it's definitely going to be simple. It's going to be laid out for you. The easy part is when you get to doing this more often, and you just pretty much breeze through it because you know what you're supposed to do. All right. So I have my gray there. And then what I'm going to do is put the gray here, white there. So now I'm just going to choose where I want my gray and white. So for this section here, what do I have that here? That's black. Then I have right next to that is white. So I'm going to change this one to white. And this is all preference. So if you want it to look the same, you could pretty much just play with it. So I'm going to do that one white. And then let's do red for the sleeve over here. So in this section, I want the red. So I'm going to turn red on there. And let's see, where do I want white? There we go. I want white right there. So it's all preference, but all 4 colors are there, and I can use them how I want to. And on this side, it looks like we have the dark gray as the background color. So I'm gonna come here for the background. I can put dark gray. And essentially, I have all of the same elements in my background. The thing is, this photo here is not what I want it to be. So for the photo, if I want to bring the photo element in, I'm going to choose the photo from my skin pack. Okay. So again, this is my folder for my skin pack. I'm going to go to photo 1 and I'm going to open up photo 1. Now, mind you, this is where my graduation photo is, but I'm going to take this photo out. And let's see, in order to see that, let me pull photo 1 down so I can look at both at the same time. And I'm going to bring our MJ inspiration over here. And I'm going to treat it just like it was our photo. Right now, the opacity is on 42%. I can crank that up. Then I can turn off photo number 1. I want to make sure nothing's cut off. You see how down at the bottom that's cut off? That means that's going to give us issues. So as long as my image is not hanging off the artboard, I'm fine. I have specific shapes in there to kind of give it an edgy look, but I don't want it to look like it unintentionally got cut off. So that is now our photo 1. If we save this, no longer will we have the graduation as our photo 1. We'll have our MJ painted version. So if we go back to our test now, you see how some of these elements will start to update. Okay. And some of the elements will not update until you specifically open these elements. All right, so we have not saved our background yet. We have not done the save dance. Let's do file. And then let's do save. And that should update it. Let's give it just a moment. Okay, and here is our accent photo. If we wanted to place a logo there, anything else, then we're gonna, let's go ahead and do that next. We'll change out our accent image. Now this photo was not originally in the background. And the reason why I don't want it in the background is because when I flip this background, it's gonna flip his image and it's gonna have the word bulbs in there. So I don't want that. I'm actually gonna delete that now. If you want the photo in the background layer, then you will come to your skin pack that you're working in. You would take your photo and you would Alt click and drag it onto the artboard. If you do not do Alt click and drag, it will not update automatically. So let's say I want that same type of effect that I had before. Then I can bring down the opacity to what, 42% is what it was. So basically, I'm having to recreate this graphic just for the Automizer, which is not fun, but it does make it to where it is automatic and optimized. So that's what Automizer stands for, automated and optimized. So the smart templates are great, but the genius templates require a little more pre-work. Okay. All right, so that's it. We're going to go ahead and also update the accent image, because I'm thinking the accent image is going to be the bull here. So let's go ahead and right click and go to the logo. Let's double click on the logo. And what we're going to do is just grab this logo and place it into accent number 1. All right, so accent number 1, let's double click. It lost it for a second, so let's update modify content. It looks like it lost our link here, so let's go ahead and find it. It's in our documents, skin pat 160 and accent 1. There we go. So now I found it. And what we're going to do is take the logo from the bull here, and let's drag and drop it right here. Of course, we need to resize it now. Let's do Control T, zoom out a little bit, Control minus to zoom out. There we go. And we'll turn off the previous logo, hit yes to save, and let's watch things update. Okay, so see how accent 1 updated here? Now, if we go back into our background image, although we weren't using this image, it's still updated. Do y'all see that? Okay. So maybe we want to do that instead for the background. And now I can go ahead and close out of this because, well, I'm going to double check. The foreground accent, I'm not changing on this one. I really like the smoke. The smoke goes for almost everything. Because we don't have any other foreground accent, the smoke stays. If y'all notice in the Automizer, I gave y'all the option of the smoke and I think some graduation. Let's go ahead and update all modified content here. So those colors update. So you have your graduation hands, and then you have your smoke. So I'm going to stick with the smoke there. Let's go back to our test file and see how the background looks now. I'm going to turn the smoke off. Of course, if you like the smoke, leave the smoke on. And we just basically rebuilt the background. All right. Now for this one, let me go back to the background. It should have updated here. Oh, I know what it is. It has the foreground accent right there in front of it. All right. So the background is not going to have this foreground accent unless you either add it separately or turn it on in the background layer. All right. So let's go ahead and go on to, let's do the foreground here. Now the foreground has text, and you're going to see how we're going to edit that. And of course, all elements that we've already changed, we're going to update all modified content. Okay, and let's just say we're going to keep with the same words, but we might want to change the text. So let's go here, and I'm going to grab where it has the team name at the top. Now, mind you, this is a smart object on this particular template, and it has several instances where these colors were changed out and it applied to this text. So if I want to take this entire team name group with the fonts and all, I'm going to have to go within a specific text box. So if you imagine here, we have 6 different text boxes that are our main text box. I'm going to leave 6 alone, and I think it's 3 and 6. Okay, so we're going to only worry about text 1, text 2. And then as we change text 1 and text 2, we're going to change over 3 and 4 as well. So this is where if you wanted to have different fonts, different applications of the layer effects, you would do that here. Now, the simplest thing would be just to update all the modified content and just change out the text, change out the font here. So right now it's going to change to the colors and it's going to have the same script font. But if you want it to look more like this one, then you would have to find out what the name of that font is. We go into it. This one is College Block 2.0. I don't have that one saved on my hard drive, so I'm going to use my Googlage. And let's look up College Block 2.0 font. Okay, I see it is available on DaFont, and I will download it. All right, and once it's downloaded, you may have to extract it. If it's just a single font, then you usually can just open it up and install it. So for those of you all who ask, where do I find the font? That is my exact process. Even when I bought templates back in the day, they never gave the links for the templates. You had to find them based on what it was called here. Okay, so I kind of spoil y'all sometimes, but I want y'all to know it's possible to find it, even if I forget to tell you what the actual link is. So now it's turned into a white exclamation point. That means I have it. It's no longer yellow, right? And then I'm going to just look at, that's called College Block 2.0. I'm not going to copy and paste anything. I'm just going to take this text and I'm going to call it College Block 2.0. If I start, oh, it was typing too fast. So let me type in College Block 2.0. And now I just have to be aware of the orientation of the text, size of it. I'm going to squish it in a little bit because I don't want it to be any wider than my original text. And if you want to squish it or extend it, that's all up to you. But now, if you look at the difference, if I keep always and forever and congratulations, they have the same exact application of all the smart colors, but now it's just a different font here. Okay. So I'll turn off the always and forever. I'll close that out. And now I'm done with that. All I'm using the smart template for is the suggestion of what to build. And you'll be so amazed at what you can build when you actually pay attention to all of these steps. Okay. So I have my congratulations here. And the graduate may or may not be the same font. It depends, because on this one, we only had one font, right? So let's say graduate is the one that I wanted to make script this time instead of congratulations. And of course, here you have the opportunity to make it a little bit smaller. I think I'm actually going to make it smaller here so that anywhere that I use it, it will automatically. And you know what I should have done? Decreased it from the middle so that it stays in the center. There we go. And that way I don't have to resize it every time I want to use it. And that is the beauty of the smart template too, or the Genius Automizer, is because if you get it right on the basic layout, it will more than likely get it right everywhere else. And you will only have to do very, very minor changes every time you make a design. Like the most I'm going to have to do is maybe shift that text up just a little bit. Okay, and I maybe didn't even have to do that depending on what I change this next font to. All right, so let's see, the graduate now is what I want to change. So let's go into text number 2. And we didn't have a script font picked out, but let's go ahead, update all modified content. You see it change those colors up. Let's go to a script font now. Oh, I thought I was on the text. Excuse me, love. Yeah, I'm good. Thank you. All right. All right, so let's capitalize the G. And as you can see, it slipped a little below where I want it to go. So I have a couple of options. I can change where the text is, or I can change where the color goes. I'm going to do a little bit of both. Excuse me. All right. Let's go ahead and grab all the color layers. And I did that by selecting one, holding down Shift, and selecting the last one. And I'm going to move this color box to where it covers all of the graphic there. Super easy. Now I can change up my color here and make it whichever variation I want it, but I'll stick with the color 2 just to see what it does. Let's hit yes to make that change there. All right, and now because I have the text in script here, maybe I want my script to go above that one, and maybe I want it a little bit smaller. So I'm going to go back here, and like I said, it's easier to change it in the source file than it is to shift the main graphic or shift it in the main graphic. I apologize, loves. I'm on mute. Let's go ahead and update this. And you see how changing the scale in the primary graphic made it so much easier so that every time I type this now, it will basically be in the location that I want it to be. All right. Now you would do the same exact thing for first name and last name. However, I'm just going to go ahead and go into it and update all modified content. I will leave that for you all to do if you want to change that font. Now remember, it's not going to update unless you save it. Okay, and let's say like you just really don't like or you want to see the layer effects of the original. This one just has straight up color overlay, so it's not going to have like specific effects. However, let's say maybe for first name, last name, let's do something different. Let me show you how instead of a multiply blend mode here, you can just go to normal. And when you do normal, watch how different it looks. You see that? So now you have that flat appearance that makes it look like a cleaner, solid color, right? Sometimes y'all are asking how to do that. So I'm going to do that for text position 4 and 5. Update on modified content. And for this one, if I take that one instead of multiply, if I make it normal, you'll see how more of that flat standard color is visible. All right, so we have some updated elements here. You see how the accent one image automatically changed here? And I just keep text number 3 and 6 the same because it's just really basic. Like, hey, if I want to put simple small text down there, if I want to put maybe the dates of the sunrise, sunset dates, that font there is just a really easy, clean font to use. And even if you just always kept it in black, it would always be classic, always be clean. You would never have to really change it. But we do need to go into it just because it does allow you to change those other smart colors. So we're just going to update all modified content just so that it gives you the option to use the red or the gray. Okay. So we're going to update that. And then the same here for text 3. We didn't really use it, but it's there. Let's update our modified content. Let's make sure we save when we exit out. All right, there we have it. If we had photos for photo 2, 3, and 4 to update, you see those are available too. But we're just going to stick with one photo right now. We'll update that. And then when we come back to the test file, we should see that the individual elements here updated, as well as the main photo and the foreground image. So we are almost done. Let's go ahead and go into this alternate image. Now, the alternate image, here's the idea. Almost everything that you design for someone is pretty much in this format. You have the main image. You have a background image that might include the layer mask, which we have that on here as well. And then you sometimes have text. Sometimes you don't have text at all. But when you do have text, you're pretty much never going to have more than 3 lines of text at the top and 3 lines of text at the bottom. I've already figured out this formula for you. Like I said, this is my blueprint. This is I don't care what font you use, what colors you use, what images you use. You're pretty much very, very safe when you stick with this format for your layout. That's why the Automizer is so important and so popular. Now, every now and then you have a crazy design that doesn't look like this main traditional format with the 3 lines of text at the top, 3 lines of text at the bottom. In that case, you want to save that image on your alternate foreground, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and open that up. And we're going to still update all modified content. You can see how it pretty much changed those images there. Now, we didn't have anything to change out for image or photo number 2, 3, and 4, but you get the gist here. Now, if there was some really intricate design, like when we did class number 181 and it had the sunglasses and all those different elements, I would put that in as an alternate design. And then I would always have my main foreground set up, but I would also have this kind of funky put together imagery that was just its own separate alternate design, okay? That way you're not moving around elements on your main foreground image. You're only moving around elements on your alternate foreground image. Does that make sense? All right, all right. So I'm going to go ahead and just close that down and say yes to update, just so that it updates those changes. All right, and as we can see, our board is starting to look like it's almost all changed out. You have the class of, if you want to do this one, this is an optional accent piece for those of you who are doing like the graduation stoles. If you go into that one, all you really have to do is update all modified content. And for this one, now we're past 2022 and we're going into 2023. So I'll just click on that. And the very last number, I will turn into a 3. And it just happens to be 23. And we just happen to be doing a MJ inspired design right now. So maybe that means something. So I'm going to save this, say yes to save it. And we'll go into this is an alternate text here that says class of 22, but it also says in loving memory, just in case you have some additional accent text that doesn't necessarily fit the mold of the traditional top and bottom text. So let's go ahead and update our modified contents here too. And we'll leave the class of 2022 here. But just know you also have in loving memory is there as well. And with the smart colors, you can change the color, the fill color to whatever genius color that you have already picked. So let's turn that one back on. And that one off. We'll say yes to the changes. And imagine that this is building out the skin pack as we're changing these things. All right, so for the foreground back, the foreground back is composed of a few elements that are here as well. So as we change these elements, when we come back, make sure that you see that the individual elements up here have changed as well. So let's change the foreground back. We have some modified content to update. We should see our red and gray change for colors 1 and 2. Then we got to go into text 9 and text 8. And here again, if we want to change out the font, let's go ahead and update our modified content to get our colors back. All right, and then for the name here, remember it was college block 2.0 regular. And it ends up being really big. Let's just shrink it down to where it makes sense for our application. And maybe we do want to squish it in a little bit. Make sure that it's centered. There it goes. Hit enter, lock in that transformation. And for the back of the jersey, maybe I want it to be red instead of gray. Maybe I want the top name to be red and the bottom number to be gray. Here's your chance to switch that up. All right, and same thing here with the text 8. We're going to double click on that 22. Let's go ahead and change the font to the college font, college block 2.0. And again, let's shrink it down so that it's not so huge that it doesn't fit the mock-up. All right, and the original font is there for this poem that's on the back, but you can change the fonts. All of this stuff is changed, super changeable. However, it's just beneficial to make sure that you only have to change so much when you go in to modify the design for your customer. Let's go ahead and update our modified content so we get the updated colors here. All right, and maybe for the number, I want to do the red, take out the gray. If you want the flat color, then you would just change it from multiply to normal. right, and I think I like multiply here. All right. So we're going to go ahead and close this down and say yes to update. And it looks like all the elements here have been updated. I did not update the nutrition facts and the QR code. Those are things that you may or may not use depending on the project that you're working on. But for the most part, everything here is updated. The other thing you may want to change out is the layer mask. So let's say, let me show you how to do that. If we want to change out the layer mask, this one in particular was the layer mask that we used. Let's say you don't have this layer mask. What I'm going to do is go into our zero mask here. And it didn't find the link, so we're going to just go ahead and relink it just so that it's not confused. All right, so we're kind of given some options here already, but we want to make a brand new layer mask. So what I'm going to do is just do a solid color of black. Okay, I'm going to have that color fill there. And then I'm going to take same thing here. So this is probably a little bit advanced, but once you know how to do this, it's going to be really cool. I think I've shown you how to do this a few times, how to make your own layer mask. But I'm going to essentially do the same thing here. I'm going to click on the existing layer mask, so it gives me the marching ants. Let's create a new solid color. And let's make it black, just so I can see it. Now I'm going to right click and, well, first I have to rasterize this layer. Then I'm going to take this layer mask and apply the layer mask so that it gives me this ink blob right here. I'm going to take and bring it here. Let's turn off the color layer here just for a moment so we can make sure, you want to make sure that everything fits. Even if it looks like it fits, you do not want any of this blue line hanging off your page, because it will look like it's clean and it will cut off something that's just like a little smoky or a little bit of splotchiness, and it will look weird because it will cut those things off. Okay. All right, so now we're going to do the reverse thing here. We have a solid color fill layer. We're going to control click. You see how the marching ants are there? And then if we create a layer mask here, that's going to create our fresh new layer mask. And to make it simpler, you can just go ahead and rasterize this layer, apply that layer mask. And now inside of this folder, you have your own fresh new layer mask. You can even add them together, mix and match them, see how they look different when you add them together. So if this is the layer mask that's on, when I close out of this and hit yes, it should automatically update in my test layer. And now I have all of my elements. So let's go ahead and make sure that we save this file, because we have not been saving our test file, which is a bit scary because I was not doing the save dance. However, since all of the other elements that are linked here are saved, essentially it is saving our main file. So it's saving it in increments. So if we didn't save this file, at least the individual elements were saved and it would have updated anyhow. All right. So this is a skin pack. Believe it or not, this is a skin pack and it is ready to implement into the Automizer. So let me show you the Automizer that I'm going to give you for this class. Let me roll and get to it. And then I'm going to zip it, and then I'll also show you how to unzip it. So I would suggest that you keep this separate from your regular Automizer because this is a sample file. So instead of putting it on your desktop, just keep it in your downloads folder, or I put it in my documents folder because I have a lot in my downloads folder. Probably like most of you all too. All right, so hold on, let me pull it up first. So this is probably what your Automizer looks like right now. And you'll have some new products in there too. The button is new. Let me see if I can make this a little bit bigger so y'all can see what the new products are. The button's new. You have a backdrop there that's new. You have a retractable banner that's new. What else? The name tags, those are new. And yeah, this zip up jacket, I get those from Samar. They are polyester zip up jackets and they sublimate really well. That's what I use on the brand on demand setup. And then I also think I have a hoodie in here. Yep. So y'all have a hoodie in there as well. And I believe we also have an addition of some more treats. I'm just not sure which ones. Yard signs in there. There's a few things in there. But this is what you're going to get. For $188, you're just going to get the Oliver t-shirt, 13x19 t-shirt, and a hoodie, right? So that you get the understanding of what the Automizer does and how it's special. So in this case, what I'm going to do, I already have this Automizer zipped, which when it's zipped, it's this fresh, clean file format, right? So I'm going to take my skin pack that I just developed. It will be in this 160 folder, remember? So the names of these should look very, very familiar here, right? Now, what I like to do is whatever I had previously, I like to take those elements, everything that starts with a 0, not 0, 1, but just a 0. I'm going to take those elements. I'm going to Control-C to copy them. I'm going to go back a layer. I'll create a folder and I'll name this skin pack, and maybe this one just to be original. So that just in case I just really, really, really mess something up, I have copied and pasted all of my design elements. And let me do a view so I can show you that they're right here, okay? Now when I go back, I'm in my Automizer folder, okay? And I want to see all of these options. We're only worried about 188 right now, but when I change what's in this folder, as long as I update all modified content in each of these areas, it will update those images as well, okay? So let me show you what I'm talking about. I can show you better than I can tell you. Let's go ahead and go to our 160 that we just did. So skin pack 160. These are elements. I'm going to top to bottom here. I'm going to start with the first one, then hold down Shift, select the last one, and I'm going to copy, Control-C. I'm not just going to move them because I want to keep them in that folder. I'm going to copy, right click, and I'm going to paste. Now when I paste, it's going to ask me if I want to replace the files, and I'm going to hit yes, I want to replace those files. All right, so let's see how these things may have updated. What I'm really particularly interested in is the one that you all are going to have, this 188. So I'm going to go ahead and open that up. And we're going to have to go through a series of updates in order to update everything on here. Okay. So first, let's go ahead and close out this stuff. So we pretty much got what we needed here. Okay. Now, if I leave this open and I go ahead and double click on the mock-up. So let's say I'm going to start with the 13 by 19 shirt mock-up here. That's the mock-up. But if I double click on the image element, that is the printable file. Now you see here that we need to update the image. So let's update all modified content. All right. And look at that. It pretty much laid everything out. It put that nice little background in there with the layer mask, and it did all the heavy lifting for us. So now when we close out of this, we hit yes to save those changes. Now, let me tell you this. If you went and you pushed your text all the way somewhere and you did something else with it, it's not going to come in the same way. So as long as you keep your, as creatives, let me put it this way. Sometimes we want to do too much. So as long as you don't try to do too much, it's still going to look fabulous. It's going to look extra. It has all the effects built in. It has everything that you pretty much want to build into it. And if you just want to put up to 4 pictures or even up to 8 pictures in there, you really truly can. But when you start moving the text or moving the accent elements, that sort of thing, that's what's going to get you in trouble for the subsequent design. So if you can keep it simple, Sublimator. KISS. All right, so let's go ahead and close it out. Hit yes to save the changes. There we go. And let's do the front of the all over now. Let's double click here. All right, so on here, we're going to right click and update all modified contents. So that will change the foreground and the background. And boom, there it is. So let's go ahead and update that. Save those changes. There's our update for the all over. Looks good, looks good. And same thing here with the hoodie. Now, the good thing about this, the 13 by 19 front has already been done. So now all we should have to do is just click on the hoodie, and we don't have to go into the artwork anymore. We just have to update the artwork. And it has a little place where the strings or the ties for the hoodie comes through. So, so then that way it looks realistic, but you can, if it was in the way, you can disable that layer mask and it'll kind of look like the graphic is over there. Okay. Let's update that. Here we go. And then we'll do the same thing to the back. And I want to show y'all something cool I'm working on too. If y'all remind me, as a matter of fact, let me go ahead. The front's already on. This is for people like me. I like to be a little lazy and do the same thing on the front and the back. So I'm just advertising my business front and back. So you can update all modified contents here. And that front would be updated. But we still need to go into the back. And let's go ahead and update all modified contents there. All right, now that that's updated, let's close out. Yes, to save the changes. You can see how all of this comes together now. Boom, that's it. So let's say you're doing a team pack and you want to show them a 13 by 19 shirt, all over uniform shirt, and maybe you want to do a hoodie as like a warm up. Maybe you want to do a zip up jacket. Those elements are all in the new version of the Automizer, and I will be uploading that one tonight. All right, so let's go into the back because we haven't updated the back yet. But see how the back also includes the foreground plus this background. Let's say if you didn't want the background in there, you would just turn the background off. And I'll show you that in just a moment. So the idea here is that I want you all to design less, to stress less, to spend way less time, way less energy, thereby saving money on this part of the process so that you can get to marketing your business, putting dope graphics out there that anybody would want. I don't care if it's a coach or the hardest customers are the athletes themselves. If the athletes love it, then you have a fire product. Y'all hear me? If the kids love it, you make a kid's shirt and the kids love it, you have a fire product. Everybody else in between is going to be happy with it. So if you focus your energy on just making sure that you're doing the follow through, you're getting the mock-ups, you're showing them the upsells, then that way, every time you design one thing, you're able to put way more money in your pocket because they may have came to you for a 13 by 19 t-shirt, but when they see everything else, they're going to want to add the socks, they're going to want to add the hoodie, they're going to want to add the tumbler or the other products. That's the entire point of the Automizer. Yes, it saves you design time, but it also helps you upsell. Okay, and we're going to be talking about this week during the Build a Better Brand Challenge. Some of these concepts I didn't realize that we're not going over enough. So we're going to definitely drive these home. There we go. All right, so that is that one. Pretty much this is ready to go. I wanted to show you how I am using this. Let me know if you all can see my screen. So I also know you all said that you were interested in learning the whole pop-up shop, and mine is, and trademarks on the way for brand on demand. So make sure you don't take that and use it and upset your girl. But the brand on demand is basically a process where I go to events, I set up, and I'm able to instantly brand products for individuals on the spot, right? So the idea here is that they're able to take these images, which they should look familiar because they're images from the Automizer, right? And then the customers are able to go into these and modify them. So they can customize them. Okay, so that we can put their QR code there, and they can just switch that image out so they can hit replace. They can replace my QR code with their QR code or their logo. Type in their first and last name and maybe put some other image here. They can also change out the background here. Instead of doing a fill color, they can actually change it out and do an image back there. Okay, so let's say they want to put an image in there. Let's see, can I put an image in there? Let's see. Okay, so that's just an example. It's the same image, but I can technically put an image in the background and it crops it. So it gives people a little bit of playroom with what they can do on demand. This could be something that can be used in your custom business. So I look forward to showing you all some of this stuff in the challenge this upcoming week. So those of you who are in the challenge are definitely in for a treat because I'm going to show you how I set up this type of listing. Okay. Yes, Queen says, I'm excited for the Build a Better Brand Challenge. Awesome. I'm glad you're excited. I'm excited too. I don't sound like it right now because I'm tired, but I am definitely excited. Okay, so just showing you some applications and uses of what you should be able to do with your custom products, with your custom brand. Even had where people could go on site, they could register for the challenge if they're interested in that. And then they could also kind of do a logo design. And this is a logo design that I'm going to tell y'all all of this during the Build a Better Brand Challenge. When you get a logo on Canva, I don't care what they say about commercial use, it's probably not something, it's 100% something. Now, I'm not going to say probably, it is 100% something that you won't be able to trademark because you don't own those elements. So if that's something that you're interested in doing, trademarking your logo, then of course you want to go somewhere. You're probably going to end up spending about $500 or more for a logo that you can pretty much guarantee was hand drawn, is, basically an original concept or idea, so you don't run into problems when you go to trademark it with the USPTO.gov. However, for most of us where we're starting, it's okay to start with something that is pretty much a clip art version of the logo. What I would focus on is trademarking the name. Okay, so there's a difference between trademarking the name and getting a registered trademark for the actual presentation of that brand. Okay, so you can go into this thing here, and Canva will automatically give you some ideas and suggestions for making a logo. We're going to go through all of that in the Build a Better Brand this week. So if you want to go ahead and play with it and get started, I showed you all that a little bit with the last challenge, but we're going to get deep into building a better brand. And it's not just about, hey, I want to make my own version of Nike. This is how do I monetize my brand? How do I sell online? How do I get my product in front of more people locally? We're going to be talking about all of those avenues in which you should be building a better brand, marketing yourselves, and making more money, essentially. Okay. So I hope to see y'all in that challenge. If I don't see you in the challenge, it's okay. I probably won't do another one for another 60 days or so, because it might even be after Christmas, because we need to get ready for Christmas and holiday sales. So we'll see. But if you can make it to this challenge, make it to this challenge. If you are signed up for emails, make sure that you check off that box and you sign up for emails, because I'm going to do something special probably tomorrow morning. If you look out for an email tomorrow morning, if you're not in the challenge, make sure that you are subscribed to the email list on something. I don't care if it's a free product. Make sure that you hit that checkbox and make sure that you're authorizing me to email you. If you unchecked and you said you're unsubscribed, then you won't get the emails, and I cannot help you if you're not getting the emails. Okay, that's your bad, not mine, if you're not getting the emails. But I love you though. I still love you, but you got to be in position to get the information so you can get in the room. All right. All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and upload this. Y'all don't stay up late waiting on this, because I'm gonna clean this up, make sure everything is good. You'll have those updated products that I talked about. I am in the process of updating more products for the Automizer, y'all. This journey has been a really crazy and good one, but I want to make sure that I have some of those elements up before Christmas. So if there are some items that we're missing that would really, really benefit you all for holiday sales, you have sports sales like football coming up right now, homecoming, that sort of thing. I think we have almost every product on there. I want to say somebody mentioned the mask. I don't have the mask in the Automizer yet. So let's see. For the masks, it's so many different variations of the mask. Sharon, which mask are you doing? Because I may just do the next class showing you all how to do your own mask. No, that's going to be a little difficult. I'll have to have the exact mask model, because in order to make it a printable file, it needs to be exactly the appropriate size and dimensions, so that it's print ready. Oh, well, let me show you that. So let's say you're ready to print this 13 by 19. Let me just show you that really quickly. You could go into, so let's go into the Automizer here, and you'll notice that only the things that we updated are updated here. Right. So let's say you're ready to take these elements, and I want to do an all over shirt. I want to do a 13 by 19 shirt. Whichever ones you want to do. Let's just say we're doing the front and back 13 by 19 right now. Let's go ahead and open those two. I just hit enter to open them and my computer automatically knows to open them in Photoshop. I don't print from the big file. However, you could, because this one is not as big as it normally is because it's trapped in a smart object. So you could literally just hit print from here. Now, if you want to lock in the designs, okay, here's what's really, really important. The back of the shirt is probably going to be a custom name and number. You want to lock in that design. So I would go to File, Save a Copy, and after this, I will put a dash and maybe put whoever's name it is, custom name. That's whose name it was, custom, if I can spell custom. So custom name was the person's name. I'm going to make a folder. Right click new folder, and I'm going to call this print. Okay, so I will save that version of it, and I'm going to save it as a JPEG, not a TIFF, so that it does not change. If you don't change it, y'all, you don't flatten it and save it as a JPEG, then every single time you print and move on to the next name, you won't have the other name saved. And let's just say you worked really hard, you put different photos in there, different logos and everything, and you didn't smush it down and save it as a JPEG, you're going to be mad at yourself when you change all those elements out and you have to go back and remake the previous image because maybe the printer printed halfway and decided to poop out. Okay, so when I save that now, I do not leave it there either. That's what I want y'all to know too. So I have these print files. I'm just, hold on, maybe I didn't save it. I had to hit OK. That's why it's not there. Let me calm down because for a second I was about to get rowdy. So I'm going to view large icons. So then I should have a collection here of each person's back of the shirt, each person's front of the shirt, if it's different. I would tell y'all to keep it simple. Here's the thing, and we're going to talk about this during the Build a Better Brand Challenge. If you have to change things, you should change the price before you go getting excited about changing the design, okay? So if everybody's getting the same front, and they're only getting a custom back, then that's only one opportunity you have to maybe mix up a name and number or whatever for a given shirt. If you're doing a custom front and a custom back, those are two opportunities to mess up, and those are two opportunities you have to keep track of individual prints that only work for a certain combination, right? So I want you to think of that when you're doing your pricing. Every time you have to personalize something, you should at least be charging $5 more. Even if it's the same amount of ink, you're also putting in extra design time, right? Because even if you just have to type someone's name in there, that's extra time, extra energy. All right. I want y'all to be aware of those things because sometimes we get trapped up and excited about what we can do for a customer, but we're undercharging because we're so excited about what we can do that we forget to say, hey, if we kept the image the same on the front, it would be this price, $5 less. If we decide to change the image on the front and put the custom name on the front also, then that would be an additional $5. And people understand that and they want what they want. So $5 is not going to deter them from getting that with you, but $5 times 30 shirts would definitely deter you if you messed up 3 or 4 shirts in the process because you have a different custom name on the front than the back. Trust me, it is easy to do, okay? So at least if you're getting paid extra, that's going to give you some cushion to make sure that you are servicing your client with the best quality product and that you're not driving yourself crazy at a minimum budget that you can barely afford to have mess ups, much less, a profit margin, okay? All right. So let's see. Any questions, y'all, in the Zoom room right now? I'm gonna check on y'all. Cassandra, I can't wait. I can't wait either. Christina, yes. Cool. And we're gonna spend a little bit of time playing with the logos, and we're gonna talk while we're playing with the logos. That's why it's gonna be cool. And this challenge is not just for people that know Photoshop or want to know Photoshop. This challenge is for anyone who wants to literally build a better brand. So we're gonna be talking all of the things that we like to not talk about. We like to just get into the art, but it's time for me to start getting into the business of things with you all. All right. The mask in 110. that, Sharon, if you wanted to do the process that we did tonight, you absolutely could. But the problem with that is that the printable file is not set up. So that will be the issue there. I will see if I can do a printable file that will work for maybe 75% of masks out there. Oh, the layer mask. You can drag the 110 layer mask. I thought you were talking about face mask. You can drag the 110 layer mask into the mask of the skin pack, and it'll give you all those options. That's smart. Sounds like a plan. Yep, but you can just drag and drop them in there, resize them to the 13 by 19 size. If it need to be resized, it probably will pull in just perfect. I got you. So I was trying to think if that was face mask or layer mask. So I'm glad you clarified that for me. Sure thing. 110 will definitely pull in there and do that for you. Good thinking. 9-panel blanket. So the 9-panel blanket, that is absolutely something we can do for the Automizer. I'm trying to think how that would be done best. Really and truly, the 13 by 19 blanket probably just has rectangles where you can place the image. So I'm not sure if it'd be necessary for the Automizer. But there's a way to do it. Yep. The next time. Yep. That's a good one, Nikita. The backpacks. So typically the backpacks are sent out. However, that would be something really good to show a customer. And it would be good that if those printable files could be ready for you to send off. Nikita, if you could send me by email what supplier you use to print your backpacks, and send me the link to where their printable files are. Because normally they're going to have a template that says, don't print outside of this line, or, make sure that your image fits in these parameters. And I should be able to make a mock-up of that plus the printable file. And the backpacks, duffel bags, if you all give me like where you, I know ArtSat is one that prints those. Also, I think Printful or Printify has some templates as well for those type of products. Right. So let me know whatever supplier that you are using for that, and we can put that on the list. Now, my priority is for things that I know you all physically make. But if I get enough people that want to do those bags, then we'll knock those up on the list. The hoodie is from a Samar. Let me look it up real quick. I'll show y'all. And I'm sure you probably have some other suppliers as well. Let me pull it over here on the screen where you all can see it. And what I do is I go to the fleece, and then I make sure I'm going to, the fabric is going to be polyester. And then I look for the color white. That's how I find them. And I just select anything with white, update, and I go from low to high for the price there. A lot of these products are pretty popular. I was doing quarter zips. You'll see this is the wholesale pricing here. A ladies quarter zips, the ladies shirts fit really nice. Some of you all were asking about like the short sleeve hoodies. These are sweatshirt fabric, but a short sleeve hoodie that's popular for basketball. They have the adult size version as well. This is the kid size zip up jacket that I was using. Really nice kind of track jacket. They have a ladies version of the track jacket, men's version of the track jacket. And here is the hoodie. So you can see the numbers there. for those. And like I said, I was able to, at a on-demand event, I was selling hoodies for $60 and the zip-up jackets for $80. I was selling t-shirts for $40 and people were buying them. First of all, is because we're at an event, and at that event, we're making things on the spot. So literally within 10 minutes, we're making stuff. So you can find your ideal clients that will pay what you want them to pay for your services. You just have to get in front of them. Okay. So when I hear people don't want to pay, it's not people don't want to pay, it's specific people that don't want to pay, and those are not your customers. So you need to get out from in front of those customers and send them to your worst competitor. I'm just kidding, but I'm not. All right, love. So that was it. That's all I wanted to show y'all tonight. I need to get on my stuff so I don't get too sleepy and not upload this stuff for y'all tonight. Any other questions before I let you go? All right. Thank you, Christina. You're the best. You are the best. Y'all are the best, for real. Okay, so and also I want to see you start putting your logo on your mock-ups and stuff too. So we'll work on that this week. We'll at least get a standing logo done this week in the Build a Better Brand Challenge. So we're going to do a standing logo. We're also going to set up basically a kind of merch situation. Okay. We're going to set up a really simple merch situation so that those who know Photoshop and those who don't know Photoshop are going to be able to participate by just basically using your logo everywhere that you go. Okay. That's going to be one of the things we talk about. We're also going to talk about trademarking. We're going to talk about how you get started, different budget levels, different interest levels. Some of you are not interested in making all this stuff, but you want to be able to sell a brand. Some of you are interested in making everything, but you don't know where to start and what the equipment is and what the budgetary constraints are. So I have something for everyone along that spectrum, basically helping you maximize the resources that you put in so that you can get the most out. And my goal is to have all of you as 6-figure and better earners with your brands. Okay. Awesome. Yep, in person and online, Ken. That's exactly what we're going to be going over. And it's really important that you do both. Right. So I promote digital products as well as physical products. I also promote local plus online business, like BOAF, both. Okay. I want to make sure that y'all get money on both sides. Now I might not do local as much anymore, but when I do a pop-up event, that's considered local because it's something that I'm doing at that moment and not doing as online business. So I definitely want to make sure that you all are tapping into whatever market suit your lifestyle that you're building, right? Some people don't want to be locked down with the brick and mortar. That's not me anymore. However, I know very well what to be doing if you do want a brick and mortar, or if you want to make money locally like a brick and mortar without having the overhead of a brick and mortar. Hello. So we're going to be going over those, and we only have 5 days. So I'm going to be going over a lot for those 5 days. You don't want to miss not one of those days if you can avoid it, because every single day we're going to be going over some intense topics. And the day that you miss is the day that you need it. Trust and believe. That's how it works. All right. So we start tomorrow. If you're not already in the Build a Better Brand Challenge, make sure you're in there because we got some sauce. We have some sauce. Okay. The sauce, not just some sauce, but the sauce. All righty, my loves. Well, you know what it is. It's time to head out and tap out for now. I got to get some rest and get ready for y'all because y'all know whenever I do a challenge, I give y'all all of my little energy. And I want to make sure that I have all of my energy to give. So, I appreciate you. I love you dearly. And until next time, bye.